What's going on, Falcon fan? This your boy Ricondo coming back at you with another video. So, guys, we got to talk about last night. Sunday night football was a good game, in my opinion. The Atlanta Falcons had a chance to win that game. I know everybody is all up in arms about the game management from the coaching staff and time management, but you got to look at the whole game in its entirety to actually get a true feel about what happened in this game. I think it was a tale of two halves. So you look at what I said in the titles. Also, I think the future is bright. We're going to get into that today and talk about this game. We're going to talk about our playoff picture moving forward. And we're going to talk about, like I said, what's moving forward for this Atlanta Falcon um, team moving forward. So, guys, with that being said, if you have not already, go ahead and please subscribe to the channel. Please hit the notification bell so you know I drop another video. Please hit the like button. So I know you guys out here to talk about. Then please share my video throughout YouTube universe so more people can come to here and talk about. That's right, these Atlanta Falcons. Um, Happy New Year's. I know it's not came yet, but it's close. We got 2 more days until the new year happens. Probably one more day. You're just looking at this. Of course, our Georgia Bulldogs play on New Year's Day against the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Hopefully, they can get it done with the backup quarterback. But let's talk about our Atlanta Falcons, guys. Atlanta Falcons came into this game needing a win because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers went and handled the Carolina Panthers like we all thought they would. So the Atlanta Falcons needed to win to stay on top of the NFC South Division, and we all know how it turned out. The Atlanta Falcons lost an overtime game in over there in Maryland. And there's a lot of things we definitely want to talk about. I know what most people want to talk about, and we're definitely going to get into that. But we got to talk about the game in its entirety first. And we talk about that, and you look at it, and sometimes it don't even have to come down to those plays. But everything matters in games like this. Is a playoff atmosphere. And I thought Atlanta Falcons came out and played a great first half. So let's just talk about, like I said, the Falcons lost in its entirety. We're going to talk about everything about this game. And of course, we're going to start off just looking at the stats in itself. The biggest thing I always go to, and if you look at when I said the tell two half, the Washington Commanders had the ball for 41 minutes yesterday, right? They had the ball for 41 minutes. And when you think about that, you have the ball 41 minutes. It's a lot of running the ball. And for some reason, guys, when we go up to the when playing that stadium, the Atlanta Falcons can't get out the field when the team is running the ball on us. They did a couple of years ago, even when Marcus Mariota was our quarterback. They ran the ball, and it limited our possessions in that game. I think we had probably like a total like 7 possessions in that game. Look at this game. I think we only had one drive in the third quarter. So when you're looking at this game, you're looking at the time possession. I tell you to tell the two half Atlanta going into the half, 17-7 lead. They got all the momentum in the world. Come out of the second half, we only get the ball one time in the third quarter. In my opinion, that changed the whole game, right? They got more physical as they start running the ball. Jaden Daniels started to do what he does best. And the Atlanta Falcons just couldn't do some of the things that they was able to do in the first half. I thought the Commanders was able to start to get their running game going, and it changed the whole game. So the time possession, in my opinion, is probably the first thing you look at. I know everybody want to talk about the clock management and thing like that, and we're definitely going to get into that. We talk about the coaching, but when you look at it from this point, you look at the time possession. In my opinion, it's really crucial. You go to third down, right? Third down, right? Third down is one of the most critical things. And when you're thinking about football, the Commanders was 6 for 13 on third down, almost 50%, right? 6 for 13 on third down. The Atlanta Falcons was 2 for 10. That's 20% on third down. We could not stay on the field. So when we did get the ball, we could not stay on the field. Third down was really hurt. We're really hurting with us, right? And you're going to see that with a young quarterback. So these are some when you look at the game, because I know everybody always want to talk about the time possession and things like that, but the whole game matters. The whole game matters. And what I'm talking about, looking at the stats on itself. 2 for 10 on third down. The time possession, they had the ball for 41 minutes. That's 60-minute games, right? They had the ball 41 minutes. That's not gonna help our Atlanta Falcons team, right? We was able to dominate the running game in the first half. Second half, we just didn't get the ball enough, right? Our defense was not able to get off the field. Um, so when you look at it from that standpoint, guys, the Atlanta Falcons just got outplayed in the second half. It's a tale of two halves. The first half, the Atlanta Falcons had the momentum. They're coming in. You can question not many using the times outright going into the half, right? Because we had opportunity to actually, get more than 3 points going into the half. And but you did like the way they was able to at least get those 3 points on the board. Maybe if you take more times out there, maybe they can put 7 on the point instead of being 17-7. It could have actually been even a little bit more than that, right? It could have been 21-7, and that could have changed the temperature of the game as well. Um, you know, to be honest with you, Michael Penix, he didn't hit all his throws last night, right? He still played, I think, really, really good as a rookie. I think he has a bright future. We're definitely going to get into that tonight and talk about that. But at the same time, he missed Drake London on going into the half. He was wide open on a fade route, a corner route going into the end zone. He overthrew him. That's timing. That's getting on the same page with the receiver. I think with Michael, he kind of thinking about have to throw the perfect pass. But when you got a guy like Drake London who's 6'5", that can catch those contested catches, give your receiver a chance. Like I said, with more time on task with those guys practicing together, getting their chemistry down, I think it'll be better. But that was a missed throw, right? He had another missed throw on Bijan on the sideline. Bijan beat his man going up the sideline. Bijan probably scored there, right? That's another missed throw. So it's some things you look at, and that's going to happen with a young quarterback. So I'm not making blaming Michael Penix. Things like that's going to happen, but you can see the potential there of just getting time on task with his players, getting the chemistry down, and things like that. Which was with questions, why they wait so long to put him in, and we know the answer to that. We talked about that on my last show where they just did not want to make the change from Kirk Cousins to Michael Penix. You understood that because that was the plan. The plan was to let Michael Penix sit for a year, right? At least a year. And let him learn behind Kirk Cousins. I still believe it was a good decision because I think Michael Penix learning his offense. You can see how well he knows his offense, where the ball needs to go. He understands the operations. I thought operations went well for Michael Penix for the most part, but just some errant passes that he had that's going to get better when he get chemistry with his teammates. So it's no big deals. But when you look at this game, guys, I'm telling you, I understand everybody's frustration with the clock management, and we're going to talk about that in just a minute. But what I really want to look at when you go look at stat sheets, you look at time possession, which is huge, right? The Atlanta Falcons had one drive in the third quarter. One drive in the third quarter. That's not going to get it done. They kept the ball away from our offense, and going 2 for 10 on third down. That's one of the worst, averages we probably had all year on third down. So those things got to be fixed. Those things got to be fixed. So you're gonna look at the clock management in the game. Yes, the Atlanta Falcons had a chance to win despite going 2 for 10 on third down, despite only having the ball for 25 minutes in the game. But at the same time, those things factored in this game. It was a tell of two halves. The Commander was able to dominate the second half. It's no other way about it. Their defense, their offense was able to keep our defense, on their toes. Jaden Daniels started running the ball. But in my opinion, when you look at this loss, I know everybody want to go to the end of the games, the clock management piece, but 41 minutes of time possession, it's not good. 2 for 10 on third down, it's not going to get it done. So in my opinion, you look at the whole game in its entirety, it's a tale of two halves. First half, Atlanta Falcons had a great game plan. Whatever they did, adjustment that the Commanders made, coming out running the ball, him, Queensberry, starting to let Jaden Daniels go wild the way he was able to do. I think all those things factored into this game, and that's in my point, because the way the Atlanta Falcons played in the first half, this game shouldn't have been close if they could have just kept that momentum, kept that going up the way they was playing. But Commanders came around, they turned the game completely around. They kept the ball out of offense hand, one possession in the third quarter, and we just was not able to get any rhythm in that second half. And 2 for 10 on third down, guys. I think that's probably the worst we ever been on third downs this season. And that's not good. So that's not good. And that's going to happen with a young quarterback. Just a second start. So it's not taking anything away from Michael Penix, because he delivered when he had to deliver, in my opinion. But at the same times, but in the game, going through it, second start, you're going to see things like this from a rookie quarterback, right? It just, you're going to see the not having chemistry with your receivers, your big body receivers like a Drake London, like a Kyle Pitts, and things like that. Timing off that first interception he threw, he throwing to a spot where he think his receiver is going to be, and the receiver didn't run the right route. That's just what happens. It looks bad because it's like he threw it right to the defender, but that was just a bad play all around. The receiver didn't get the right route, miscommunication, and Michael Penix throwing to a spot. So you can understand that, but that didn't hurt him. That interception did not hurt us at all. We was able to tie the game up, took the momentum going into the half, 17-7. We had those guys on their heels, and then came out of the second half. It was the total opposite. It was like two different games that we've seen, and the stats show that 100%. Bijan Robinson had 82 yards, 82 yards in that game, right? In the first half, he ended up with 90 yards. So in the second half, Bijan only had 90 yards, 8 yards rushing in the second half. They just tell you how the game changed from one half to the next half. Everybody want to talk about coaching, but the stats tell it more, right? Because you can go back and look. If you didn't look at the game, right, and if you look at the stat sheet, you can say, okay, 2 for 10 on third down. They hold the ball 41 minutes. To me, that tells more about the game than just looking at the end of the game and trying to put all that on a complete. The end of the game is I agree with most people what they're saying about it. I thought Raheem Morris explained it the way his thought process was. I think if he had to do it all over again, he probably would do it different. But at the same time, when I'm looking at this loss, that's what I take from it. Just did not play well enough from a defensive standpoint to get our offense back the ball, especially in that third quarter. And that's when the game changed for our team. And then those guys was really from that point on. So that's what I think. Eddie says, the bird future is bright. Postpone this show. It's Monday Night Football. I don't care about Monday Night Football. I really don't. The Niners and the Lions, they can have that. Eric Rogers says, Michael Penix is going to be damn good quarterback. Our future look good. Yeah, we're definitely going to talk about that in just a minute. I agree with you, Eric. All right, let's get to the next thing, guys. What everybody was talking about, from the TV heads out there, of course, the whole fan base is so upset with Raheem Morris. They want him on a chopping block and all that kind of stuff. And I get it. I don't understand why he didn't, especially. And like I said, you can go back to the first half as well, because we had times out there as well. But if Michael Penix hit that corner route to Drake London for a touchdown right there, because Drake was open, it was just an overthrow, right? We was able to get 3 on the board, but if he makes that pass right there to overthrow, going into the half, we're up 21-7, right? But he was an overthrow, and not like I said, chemistry, timing, that's going to get better. I can promise you that. Because Michael Penix is one of the most accurate quarterbacks coming out of college. It's just timing and chemistry with his teammates, and it's going to get better at that. But going into the half, he didn't manage the time. Some people question that managing times out there. The whole idea with that, he didn't want to get those guys the ball back. That's why he did it that way. So I understand it so much. We just didn't execute the right like we wanted to get the points on the board. We did get 3, could have had 7 easily. Maybe we managed to time better. All right. The end of the game. The end of the game. Um, that pass to Darnell Mooney. We had 33 seconds on the clock. I think when they hiked the ball, it was like 21 seconds. So it's 12 seconds that went off the clock. That we probably had more precious time that you could have made. All right. You listen to his explanation, calling timeout. They're able to get their pass rushers out there to get their game plan in. He was trying to catch them off guard, keep them in that defense that was in. I understand his mindset, but I believe that if he had to do it over, he probably would. Um, and especially with a rookie quarterback, I think that's where he probably made the biggest mistake. Maybe when you had a veteran quarterback out there, somebody understand been in those situations hundreds of times, maybe you could see a different outcome. But when you got a rookie quarterback, first time in the pressure moment, just threw a dime to Darnell Mooney, and trying to get those guys lined up, it just took too long. And that's why you probably should have called a timeout there. So I agree with everybody 100% that I do understand what his mindset was, what he was thinking as well. If you just completed a pass, against the guys that was on the field and that defense that they had out there, you might want to keep those guys out there. You don't want them to get their guys in there, to set up another pass rush or blitz or something like that. So I understand what he was saying. You're not going to be right 100% of the time. I look at it like this: if Young Wei Koo would have been our kicker, we probably win that game. So 56 yard, Young Wei Koo, we know he can hit that. He's not been 100% this year. He's been struggling. But if Young Wei Koo, our kicker, I think Atlanta Falcons might win that game. And then we wouldn't even be talking about clock management, right? Because with those 2 seconds left on the clock, Young Wei Koo kicking in, the Atlanta Falcons walk off the field, still in NFC South division, things like that. However, we had a backup kicker. He had to know his distance. So I guess he knew. I guess he figured it was going to be a Hail Mary kick anyway at that point. But you know, that's what happened with coaches. I think the biggest thing is he has to own up to it, admit that he could do something different and things like that. I think he gave a great explanation today. Many people might not want to agree with it and things like that. I understand that as well. But you know, I hate to try to put a game when you're looking at the stats and you're looking at what transpired the entire game and trying to put it on one possession. Yes, that possession could have won us the game, but at the same time, if you have a better overall game, you don't put yourself in those positions, man. You just don't. 2 for 10 on third down, it's not good. It's 20% on third down, and everybody's going to overlook that because they want to talk about the game management at the end of the game. The way they was able to run the ball on us in the second half, you're going to overlook that in the way, and go talk about the management of the game, which I think would not be the most accurate and honest assessment of what happened last night. So I just wanted to look at it from a different perspective. Yes, he should have called timeout. Would have had 33 seconds left on the clock. Definitely could have got closer for our kicker. That he probably should have known that 56 yard was too far for him. So I mean, it is what it is at this point. The Atlanta Falcons did not get it done. I mean, you go back to we played Tampa in overtime, right? 12 seconds, and this what I'm talking about. 12 seconds to go. Kirk Cousins throws the pass to Drake London. Drake London get down and call timeout with 1 second left on the clock, kick a field goal, and we're going to overtime. So we have seen it done. We've seen it done again, and with Philadelphia Eagles on Monday Night Football with a minute something left, going down the field, getting a game-winning touchdown on Monday Night Football. So it operation makes sense. I think where he screwed up most, got a rookie quarterback back there, second start on the road, pressure moment, I think that's when you use your timeout, because that guy that has not had enough experience to be able to execute like a Kirk Cousins who's been doing it for 14 years. So that's probably where I would say he screwed up the most, because who he had back there behind center, who's going to have a bright future. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. But I'm telling you guys, right, please don't overlook the entire game and get so wrapped up on at the end of the game. I know everybody want to talk about all the talking heads. Raheem Morris need to be fired and things like that. I get it. I understand. But that's not why we lost the game, in my opinion. That's not why we lost the game. I think we lost the game because we couldn't stop Jaden Daniels and their running game in the second half. And that's why I think we lost the game. So you can feel free to disagree with me, put your thoughts out here. Please do that. Everybody get back at me. Let me know what y'all think about that. Bad management on the game, clock management, 100%. Should have called timeout. He had two. Can't take them with you. First half, going in, I think we could have had more time. And in the end of the game, I think we could have had more time on both instances. But in my opinion, if you look at the stats and things like that, I just think that's why we lost more than anything. And the Atlanta Falcons got to get better. That's just that simple. In some areas, we got to be able, because running quarterbacks is not going away. We got to be able to scheme that up better and be able to bottleneck a guy like Jaden Daniels, make sure he does not wreck the game like he did in the second half and in the overtime game. They just couldn't stop the guy, and that's why they won the game. It's just that simple. Eric says, I'm looking forward to 2025. If Penix would have started a month ago, we would be 11-6. We would New Orleans and San Diego, those two games. Yep, I agree 100%. It just the problem with looking back, guys, because that's what we always do. We always playing Monday morning quarterback, or what we would have did, how we should have did it, despite, because hindsight 2020, right? But I mean, Atlanta Falcons 6-3. Obviously that 4-game losing streak killed us, and it's no other way around it. But now looking at what transpired the last 2 weeks, Michael Penix definitely would have gave us a better opportunity to not go for 0-4 in those 4 games. I really believe that. So but we just didn't know if he was ready, and now we know he was ready way before he should have been ready. So that's just the way it is. And there's no other way we can think about it. So you're right, Eric. I agree with you 100%. If he would have been starting, we probably wouldn't even be. I think honestly, if we would have been starting, the playoff picture for the NFC probably already been done, because Atlanta Falcons will be in. Because the only spot left right now for the NFC is the NFC South division. Every other spot is pretty much locked up. So that's the way it goes. So, and that's all we got to go off of. All right, let's get into the next topic. Next topic is we're just talking about it, the playoff picture. So, guys, here it is. We have to depend on our hated rivalry, and honestly, if I were them, I wouldn't win for us. I'll just be honest with you. If I had my team that I did not like, probably the most in the division, I wouldn't win for them. So, I don't think the Aints are going to win this game. I don't think they would win if they even tried. I just think that Tampa Bay Buccaneers is going to come out and they're going to finish it and seal it off, seal it for us. And that's okay. That's okay, guys. The playoff picture is over. Atlanta Falcons had the opportunity. I think Grady said it best. You put yourself in these positions. You had an opportunity to seize the moment, and the Atlanta Falcons just wasn't good enough. It's just what it boils down to. Too many mistakes. That 4-game losing streak was crucial. waited too late to pull the trigger, on benching your veteran quarterback. Um, and you have to just live with those decisions and things like that. So at the end of the day, pretty much the Atlanta Falcons season is probably over. I don't see the Aints beating the Bucks on Sunday. With that being said, Atlanta Falcons still need to come out, and take care of their own business. Um, just don't know. That's the way the lead is. You don't know what's going to happen. Um, so that's just the way I look at it. Um, that's it, guys. It was a great season for us. I still won to the game on Sunday. I'll be there. I still want to because I want to see Michael Penix again. Um, I want to see him play. I want to see him, progress and get better. Better be a third starter of the season. Um, and hey, man, great season. I think it was a good season for the Atlanta Falcons. A good start. The Atlanta Falcons have an opportunity to be a game over 500. They already won one more game than they had won in the last three previous seasons. Um, so you can see the improvement. Still wasn't able to do what I felt like they should have did, and I'm going to stand on this season. Still probably a failure because they did not make it to the postseason. I thought this team was good enough to make it to the postseason. But that 4-game skid really killed the Falcons, and it's nothing you can say about it. So the playoff picture is pretty much done for us. Um, guess it's a division opponent that the Bucks are playing, but I don't think the Aints are good enough. I just don't think they're going to beat those guys at home. So I think it's over. And, besides, Atlanta Falcons got to go out and do their job anyway. So Atlanta Falcons don't need to be worrying about what the Bucks and the Aints game, what it's going to look like. They're playing at the same time. So, nobody gets an idea, who's winning. So you got to go out and play your best game on both sides of the ball. So that's how it is. Um, Paul said, "Fire Raheem. He is terrible, tired of mediocrity." Um, there you have it. There you have it. Paul got his feeling about it. Um, I'm still, like I said, for me, um, the jury's still out for me on Raheem. We'll have to see. Um, I don't think the game management is why you would fire him. He said no excuses. I can't argue with nobody. If anybody want Raheem out, I'm not arguing with you guys today. I understand your sentiment. That's pretty much been the theme today for the Falcons. They want the coaching out because he didn't call a timeout. So I'm tracking. I'm tracking with you guys. He had made some questionable decisions this year. So I'm tracking with you guys 100%. If that's how y'all feel, I just don't think that Atlanta Falcons should start over again with a new coaching staff. They just fired one. Um, I think it's too early to start over again. I think Michael Penix have learned this offense. I think he need time to grow in it and see what it's like. So, um, and like I said, in my opinion, it's a tale of two halves. The way the Atlanta Falcons looked in the first half, I don't think nobody wanted Raheem fired. That first half, it was a good first half. I think the second half, I agree with you guys. The first half, though, it was a pretty good first half. Like I said, time management still was kind of wonky at the end of the game. At the end of the first half, right? That time, because he still had times out. He could have called times out. It's something about Raheem. You don't want to call times out. I don't know what it is, right? He thinking too much, man. Just call a damn timeout. I get it. I get it. I understand what you guys saying. But the way the Atlanta Falcons looked in the first half, man, we was rolling, man. The Atlanta Falcons still had five. The crazy part about it, they still had 5 sacks last night, right? But that second half was just abysmal from offensive standpoint and a defensive standpoint. I mean, we only had one possession in the third quarter for one reason. They went on a like 2 10+ play drives in that third quarter that killed the whole quarter for us. Only had one possession, went 3 and out. And then their game plan in the second half, it killed Bijan. Bijan had 8 yards in the second half. He had 82 yards in the first half. He had 8 yards in the second half. So it was just a tell of two halves, man. They came out and they just outplayed us in the second half. So I mean that's just where I'm at with it. Like the Atlanta Falcons, they dug their own grave. They dug their own grave. But looking at the playoffs, we did make it. It's a failure. Raheem should be on the hot seat next year. I'll tell you that much, right? I think he should be on the hot seat next year, right? I think this team should get better, should get a lot better. Hopefully, with the additions that we can add in certain positions and things like that. But yeah, it's a failure because we did not make the playoffs. And the Atlanta Falcons should have made the playoffs this year, without a doubt, especially starting out 6-3. And you question waiting too long to make the quarterback change. You question some questionable calls and things like that. But football is tough, and when you make decisions, you have to live with those decisions. And sometimes those decisions get your ass fired. So I agree with you guys 100%. If you think you need to be fired, it's always next year. Yeah. Well, that's all we can say now. That's all we can say now. Actually, let's be honest though. I don't think the Atlanta Falcons would have won the Super Bowl this year if they got to the playoffs. I don't think they was good enough. I don't think they was a good enough team this year. It was been nice to get a playoff, man. That's what we wanted. We wanted to see. One thing about playoffs, you never know. You in a tournament, so you could get in. You could play your best ball and get in. But I think they always was a year away in the first place. I just believe that. But I really thought they should have won and made the playoffs this year. That's why I think it's a failure. So you can't have a letdown, going into next year. And you got to think about the positive. The positive is, I think, and we're going to go ahead and talk about that right now. The positive is Michael Penix is the future. I really believe that we have our quarterback of the future on the team. I do believe that. I believe that Michael Penix showed enough in these last 2 games to warrant that. I think time on task, like I said, with the young offense that we have. We got some old heads out there. We got Jake Matthews. We got Caleb McGarry. They might have to make some decision on those 2 guys, especially Caleb McGarry, since it's the blind side now, or your quarterback. It's going to be huge to be able to fix that right tackle position. Kyle Pitts showed up last night. I know a lot of people been down on Kyle Pitts, but Kyle Pitts is like 23-year-old. You got Drake London, who's young. You got Bijan, who's young. Darnell Mooney, I think, is a good number 2 to go along with Drake London. Tyler Algier, we had him for one more year as well. This is a young offense, and I think it's going to be better. The future is here. And you like shootouts like that, man. That was a bullet. Though that pass he threw 13 yards away to Kyle Pitts in his own was a straight up bullet. It was on a rope. It was accurate as hell. And plays like that you can see, coming forward in the future. So I think we found our guy, guys. I really do. I think, like I said, it's real early, but just looking at these first 2 games, progression, what he was able to do, I think it tells a lot. Now, like I said, going 2 for 10 on third down is not a good thing. I'm just saying that. But like I said, it's learning. You're going to have some growing pains. It's just the nature of the beast in the NFL, right? It's not going to come on and start hitting on all cylinders. You can go back and look at some of Jaden Daniels' first games. He got like a stud last night, but he's been playing the game for 17 weeks. So he has 15 game head start on Michael Penix. And so, you can see a little different how more, precise Jaden Daniel was on things, on knowing the offense and stuff like that, and running the offense. Michael Penix was still a little bit looking like a rookie, especially on some of the passes he made. But guys, I'm telling you, he is the future. Um, the jury was out on Kyle Pitts. I think Kyle Pitts still has so much potential, and working with Michael Penix might be able to unlock that. We did pick up the fifth year option on him, so at least now instead of maybe put him in a trade package or something like that, maybe they want to keep Kyle Pitts to go with this nucleus with core that we have with the Atlanta Falcons. So, but I really believe Michael Penix the future, man. I just um after 2 games, I'm so excited. Um, he has an arm on him. He's accurate as hell. He just needs to start putting touch on some of those passes and giving his guys opportunities to make plays and stop trying to, lead them so much, because I think that's what's hurting him. You just got to give him an opportunity, man. That play on the sideline to Bijan, I think that would have been a touchdown. Of course, the fade route to and going into the half to Drake London probably should have been a touchdown. Drake London is wide open. You have to give you guys opportunity, and I don't think those things is going to come with chemistry and timing on task with his players. So, but guys, you have to like what you're seeing from Michael Penix the first 2 games, um, and beyond. So I really like that, and I hope you guys do too. Um, you just got you gotta love the future right now. Yes, unfortunately, we talk about the future because, like I said, the previous thing I just talked about, playoffs is over. The Aints ain't winning, man. So don't think about it. Don't even really pay attention to that game at all. The Aints ain't beating the Bucks. The season is over. It is over. It is over. It is over. Um, that call on Malone with BS. That was, oh man, it was 3rd and 22. I'm so glad you brought that up. I didn't even talk about that play, but I mean, it was the right call. It was bullshit though. I agree with you because it didn't affect the play at all. It didn't affect the play at all. That was some straight up bull. I agree that's some bullshit, man. But at the same time, it was the right call. He contacted him beyond 5 yards down the field. It's a bull crap, man. That you're right. That killed us right there. 3rd and 22, because we came out in the second half and that was, if we would have gotten the ball back then, I think the game would have been over. But that kept their play, their drive going, and it was over from that point, man. It was over after that. I think they got the momentum and they kept it the rest of the game. But that's a great point. That play, um, and see, that's what I'm saying, guys. Like everybody's so upset about the last minutes of the game, and I get it. We still could have won, but plays like that with that was a big play. 3rd and 22, got off the field there. We had momentum going. We was after we was getting after Jaden Dunn. He was confused about what we was doing, and then they figured us out, man. It's just some bull, man. Paul says almost beat the Chiefs, should beat the Vikings, and yeah. I mean, we should have beat the Chargers. We should have beat the Aints the second time. Um, we was 21-21 against the Vikings, right? If you get a Ray McLeod fumble, an interception by Kirk Cousins, by the time the offense get back on the field, we down 14 points. So, you know, um, I agree. Like those things, it's the team wasn't good enough, man. We just made too many mistakes this year. Picks will be Julio Jones and want to play winning organization. Um, we need to keep him for one more year. Let's see what he can do. Let's see. Say the Saints are. Oh yeah, man, they're gonna get smoked. And plus, trust me, they're gonna get smoked on purpose. They don't want the Falcons. They don't want the Falcons to go to the playoffs. So they're gonna lose on purpose, man. Trust me. It is. We don't like them, they don't like us, and they're definitely not going to hate us. They're definitely not going to help us out. So it's a wrap. Vikings right here. Rooting for you guys to win last night. Sorry you guys didn't make the playoffs. Yeah, man. Hey, we tried, man. We tried. We tried. Our field goal kicker, man. That if you was watching that game, that ball was so straight. It was so straight. It just was too short. It was so straight. It was just too short, man. It's just, hey, what we gonna do? What you gonna do, man? What you gonna do? Can't. There's nothing you can do about it. So, um, the Vikings look good though. Vikings have an opportunity to actually get the number one seed, man. And who would have thought, right? Who would have thought? Sam Darnold. The Minnesota Vikings got a decision to make too during the offseason. Do they pay Sam Darnold, big quarterback money, or do they go with JJ McCarthy? That's a great question. We know Sam Darnold is going to be highly touted on the market. There's some quarterback needy teams out there that might not want to go in the draft. They want to get a veteran guy. Third, I think Sam Darnold, third overall pick in the draft. You can see the talent there. You finally got in a system that works well with him. Minnesota might want to keep him, but they did draft J.J. McCarthy, so that's going to be an interesting decision from the Minnesota Vikings what they decide to do, because Sam Darnold is one that does probably want to get paid. So that's a great. Um, that's an interesting situation to be in. I won't say great. It's going to be interesting though to see what the Vikings decide to do. Maybe if he win the Super Bowl, I think it's easy to decide that. Paul, same to you, man. You have a good New Year's, man. Same to you. Um, so 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 just to end the day, guys. When I look at this season, and we're definitely going to get into it when we talk about the season in its entirety. After it's completely over, we're going to talk about the good and the bad, what we've seen, players that that took some leaps this year, because I do think some players took a leap, like Arnold Ebiketie. I think he actually started to flash and start to live up to that second round overall pick. K Nellis, man, is just a beast. I love the way that was a great free agent signing. Jesse Bates, of course, had another stellar season. Um, like I said, our young offense is going to be really good for years to come, especially now looking at our young quarterback in the future there. So the future is bright. It's unfortunate that the Atlanta Falcons, was not able to get into the tournament again. But being over 500 for the first time in 7 seasons, that's a start. That's a start. We're gonna have to take some solace in this and looking at the future, because that's all we got. And if you've been a Falcon fan and you see the title, Real Falcon Fan, you've been a Falcon fan longest I have. You learn to live with shit like this. You just do. And hopefully one day, and I still say this, still believe this, one day Atlanta Falcons gonna win the Super Bowl, and I'm gonna be probably the happiest person ever, because I was here through it all. Right, I didn't jump on any bandwagons. I've been a Falcon fan since I can remember. So when the Falcons able to get it done, and I do believe they're gonna get it done one day. It might be with Michael Penix, man. Let's hope. Let's hope. Um, I love what we've seen for him so far. Um, you know, the game he played against the Giants was better than the game he played last night. Like I said, going 2 for 10 on third down is not good. We got to be better than that. Um, but the defense is probably what needs to be rectified more than anything, because you know it kind of reared its head again yesterday about we couldn't get a stop, man, when we needed to, and we couldn't get our field. Um, and a lot of that had to do with Jaden Daniels. Don't get me wrong, his ability to to run the ball and things like that. But we got to be better, and we unfortunately we just was not last night. We still have opportunities, and I know that's what everybody's upset about, because when you think about you think about, what transpired last night, looking at the time possession, looking at the bad third down percentage we had, the Atlanta Falcons still had opportunity, and you go to, the clock management piece. You go to that decision and things like that, and then you question, while we with all the other bad things that happened, we still had an opportunity to win the game. So I understand everybody frustration about the end of the game, things like that. But for me, when I look at the game, I look at it in its entirety, and Atlanta Falcons just did not play well in the second half here last night, and that's why they lost the game. And you have to live with that. Grady said it, you know, they put themselves in that position. So that's what it is. Um, Eric said the year before our last Super Bowl appearance, our record was 8-8, and I've been on the Falcons since Steve Barkowski days, going all the way back. See, hey, so you with me, man? So you that me and you are really, really in the same boat. We've been Falcons fans for a long time, so you get it. And I like your premonition. We went 8-8 under Dan Quinn in 2015, right? And then the next season we went to the Super Bowl. I like it. I like see. I'm trying to get guys in, guys and girls or the Falcon fans back on. Don't fall off a cliff, guys. I know you guys are mad. I've been seeing it all day long. Everybody's ready to burn the house down and fire the coach and things like that. It's not always as good as it seems, not always as bad as it seems. And the future is bright in Atlanta. I just believe that. I really believe that the future is bright. That pass that he threw to Kyle Pitts, man, that could have been one of the plays that started the legend of Michael Penix, right? Only if our coach would have just played the timeouts right. Maybe we should have went for two. Nobody is not crying about that, right? Maybe we should have went for two, and then we could have won the game right there, right? Maybe we should have went for two. But like I said, guys, you can't cry about you know one possession games and things like that, because you can question anything, right? Um, like I said, to go back to the Tampa game overtime, 12 seconds. A lot of people say you don't have time to throw a pass and spike the ball in 12 seconds. Well, the Atlanta Falcons was able to pull it off, right? And nobody said that about the time management on that play, right? It was close, but you had a veteran quarterback back there, so that's the way it works. But you're right, man. Been a Falcon fan a long time. Don't seen it all. I've been a Falcon fan so long that I was a semi 49ers fan, because they used to be in the same division with us. So I used to like the 49ers because they used to whoop our butt all the time. So that's how long I've been a Falcons fan. Just I mean, I still remember. I don't remember what year it was, but we was playing the Miami Dolphins. Dan Marino was the quarterback, and we gave him the ball back, and we finna lose the game. And then that's when the term, we finna Falcon this thing up, because the Falcons always lose at the end of games. That's what they do. They always lose at the end of games. This is what the Falcons are famous for, blowing games, right? And Dan Marino got the ball back, and what did Dan Marino do? Go down to score the ball. So it's been so many years, man, that we don't see stuff like that. I go back to the year when Matt Ryan told Todd Gurley not to score, and he tried his best not to score, but he fell into the end zone. Um, Go back to the Dallas Cowboy games when the onside kick and all the players just stood over there and looked at it. Oh man, go back to the 28-3. I never watched the end of the game, so I don't really know what happened. I don't want to know. I heard, but I never seen it. I heard what happened. I've never seen it though. I don't want to know about the end of that game. Tom Brady got this coin toss. I left. Didn't watch no more. So, but Man, it's so many like heartbreak moments for our team. Last night was another one for us, right? It put us out the playoffs, and we just got to live with it, man. It's just the way way the cookie crumble. Eric says, "I'm a real Falcon fan. I bleed red and black. I love the Falcons, Brady, Hawks, and Georgia." See, Eric is a Georgia boy through and through, through and through. I'm gonna be honest with you, Eric. I was with you, but I'm not a Hawks fan, so that's where I kind of differ from you. Everybody else, I'm there, but I'm not a Hawks fan. So, but I root for the Hawks, but I'm not a fan. To be honest with you, I root for them. Dominique, this was my last time that I probably rooted for the Hawks in that way. But I'm still a Hawks fan. But everybody else, I'm with you, man. Let's go Dogs on New Year's. We got on the Sugar Bowl. We got to get that win. Everybody doubting us because we got Gunnar Stockton back there, but I think he's going to play good football, and I think our Georgia Bulldogs going to be ready to play that Notre Dame front Irish. So let's see how that turns out for us. So guys, that's all I have. Please, 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 um, give me your opinions about what I talked about, and like I said, look at the game in its entirety. I know everybody is upset about the time management at the end of the game, but the game is way more than that. And if you look at it and look at it where the Falcons could have did better in other places, um, that's when you can be honest about what happened last night and not put it on the end of the game like that, even though we still had an opportunity to win. So please give me your thoughts. Let me know what you think. I know if you like you're done, you want to fire Raheem, you gonna go back to Mike because you know who I wanted. So you got to go back, to the off season before we hired Raheem Morris, and I wanted to bring in Bill Belichick. Um, but guess what? If Bill Belichick would have came, I don't know if we would have had Michael Penix. I don't even know if we would have had Kirk Cousins. We don't know how this season would have went because I'm pretty Bill Belichick probably have a whole different philosophy going forward, game plan for this team and things like that. So you don't know, man. I think the Atlanta Falcons found their guy in Michael Penix. I think we got a great young nucleus, especially on the offense side of the ball. And I think we got great pieces on the defense side of the ball. So the future is bright. Season's over. We'll get into more detail after this last game on Sunday and how the Atlanta Falcons can move forward. So, guys, that's all I have. This is your boy, Ricondo, coming back at you with another video. Peace.